Hello FPL fans and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be showing you some wildcard drafts for FPL Game Week 15 ahead of the wildcard deadline in Game Week 16. We will be showing you 3 wildcard templates which all have different formations as potential options that you guys could use for your wildcard teams ahead of the deadline in Game Week 16. Just to note that there can be variations on these wildcard drafts, and these are not the only 3 teams that you guys can use. You can obviously put your own spin on whatever team you would like. Just before we get into the video, please consider liking and subscribing to show support for the channel, and share this video with your friends if you guys enjoy this type of content. Please don't forget to check out SofaScore as they provide amazing stats for over 22 sports, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So taking a look at the first wildcard draft template, before we have a look at the team, the in the bank statistic ranking from 0.0 to 0.8 is just an indication of how much money in the bank various managers will have depending on how much value they have built up in various players, so obviously it can differentiate for various managers. Also, the prices listed here on the page are not the actual prices for players, these are just the prices for the players based on my team so far and how much value I've built up in those various options. In goals, the 2 players are Peacock Farrell and Alex McCarthy. Obviously Peacock Farrell could be any minimum price goalkeeper. I just prefer him as he's actually made a start this season and has proved that he will take to the pitch if the first team goalkeeper is injured. The other goalkeeper I have who's going to be starting is Alex McCarthy. He could also be Emi Martinez, but I prefer McCarthy as he allows for that extra money to be spent around the squad, and that being said, Southampton also have a quite solid defence. Also, the reason that I like to have McCarthy over Martinez is that McCarthy has a double game week in Game Week 19, which can be useful for the wildcard draft to consider, as in Game Week 19 he faces Leicester and Leeds, so there is a double chance of a clean sheet in that fixture. Now moving on to the defenders, starting off with James Justin. James Justin has proved to be a strong FPL asset so far this season, as he is currently ranked as the 6th highest scoring defender, and coming in at £4.9 million, he is a nice budget option. He's compiled a very nice 57 points so far this season, and has got himself 1 goal, 2 assists and 5 clean sheets, and also has a double game week in Game Week 19 as he faces Southampton and Chelsea. Moving on to the next defender, it's Ferguson. He won't be starting in this squad, he's just good to save money to be able to spend elsewhere. This brings me to my 3rd defender, which is Dallas. Dallas has made a very nice start to the season as well, as he has scored 52 points, and for coming in at the price tag of £4.7 million, I would say that is very strong value. This season Dallas has scored 3 goals, 1 assist and 4 clean sheets, which is very nice as he shows that he can provide those attacking returns in the form of goals. Also, Dallas does have a double game week in Game Week 19, which features Brighton and Southampton, which is a good opportunity for clean sheets as well as attacking returns. Moving on to the next player, it is Jamal Lewis. He's also another very nice cheap defender that allows for extra money to be spent around the squad and also increases that defense depth. This season Jamal Lewis has scored 21 points and is coming in at just £4.3 million. He hasn't got any goals or assists so far, but does have 2 clean sheets. Obviously this is not the most impressive, but just for how cheap he is good to add that depth in defense. This brings me to my 5th and final defender, it's Soufal. Soufal has scored 45 points this season and has only been playing since Game Week 4. He's coming in at £4.6 million and is very good value for his 3 assists and 3 clean sheets. He's also a great option as West Ham's upcoming fixtures are looking very nice, as in the next 4 games he faces Southampton, Everton, and then for his double game week it is Burnley at home and West Brom at home, which are looking like 2 fixtures where he could potentially get back-to-back clean sheets in. So now moving on to the midfielders for the first wildcard draft, starting off with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is coming in at £7.8 million and has been great value for his 86 FPL points so far. In Game Week 14 he got himself 2 assists, scoring 10 points, meaning this season he has got himself 5 goals, 8 assists and 7 extra points for clean sheets. This means for this season Jack Grealish has got himself a very nice 5 goals and 8 assists. With this, he is the 4th highest scoring midfielder in the league, and it's just great value to have in any team. Moving on to the next midfielder, it is Mo Salah. Mo Salah coming in at £12.5 million is the most expensive player in the game, but it is justified as he is the top scoring player in FPL with 118 points. Coming off a 16-point haul in Game Week 14, he has scored a whopping 13 goals and 4 assists so far, making him not only the top scorer in the league but the top FPL points getter. Also, it is key to note that Salah does have a double game week, which includes Manchester United and Burnley, which is looking very enticing for a potential triple captain shout as well. Moving on to the third midfielder, it's Kevin De Bruyne. This season, De Bruyne has scored 65 FPL points, coming in at £11.8 million. Surprisingly, he is only owned by 25% of managers, probably because he has not been the best returner in terms of points per million, but this season has recorded 2 goals and 7 assists, in which 1 goal and 4 assists have come in the last 5 weeks. De Bruyne has some very nice upcoming fixtures as well, as up until game week 22, he only has 1 fixture with an FPL rating of higher than 3. Moving on to the fourth midfielder, it is another premium in Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has scored a very nice 102 points for the season, coming in at £11 million. He is also coming into great form into game week 15, as he has scored 17 points last game week in game week 14. This season he has recorded 9 goals and 6 assists, which is very impressive, and considering that he also has a double game week in game week 19, which includes Liverpool and Fulham, he is also a very enticing option. And to cap off the premium midfield, it is Heung-min Son. Son has scored 116 FPL points so far, making him the second highest scoring player in the league. Coming in at a very nice £9.7 million, he is excellent value to have in the squads, and considering his good fixtures of Wolves, Fulham, Leeds, Villa and Sheffield as his next 5, he's a great option to have in the squads. So now having a look at the 3 forwards, starting off with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been exceptional value so far this season, as he has scored 92 points, coming in at just £7.9 million. This season he has recorded a very nice 11 goals and 4 assists, and could be a potential shout based on his fixtures, as in game week 19 he faces Aston Villa away. He obviously doesn't have a double game week, but the quality of this fixture could make up for a lot of double game weeks that other teams have. Overall, he's just a great value option to have up top, and just seems to consistently drip in those points, so for that reason he's in the squad. Moving on to the second forward, it's Patrick Bamford. Bamford has scored 83 points so far this season and is currently coming in at £6.4 million. He has scored 9 goals and 3 assists and has been an exceptional value option up top. The other good thing to consider with Patrick Bamford is that he does have a double game week in game week 19, which includes Brighton and Southampton, which are looking like both likely fixtures to potentially get a return. Also, his 3 next fixtures include Burnley, West Brom and Tottenham, so especially those next 2 of Burnley and West Brom are looking like great fixtures for Patrick Bamford. And to cap off the team, because this formation is a 3-5-2, we have gone with Ryan Brewster, who will obviously not be starting, but he is just a cheap option to have up top. If we have a look at how this team takes to the pitch, in defence it will most likely be Justin, Dallas and Soufal starting, and then the very nice midfield of Grealish, Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandes and Son is looking like a very star-studded lineup in the middle of the park, and then the 2 players up top will be Calvert-Lewin and Patrick Bamford. So now having a look at the second wildcard draft, the formation for this one is a 4-4-2, as we have got 4 very nice starting defenders. So if we want to have a look at the main differences in this team compared to the first wildcard draft, the key one to note is that Jamal Lewis is out and Andrew Robertson comes in. Robertson is now the second highest scoring defender in FPL with a total of 68 points, and is coming off great form in game week 14 as he scored 10 points there. This season he has recorded 1 goal, 5 assists and 4 clean sheets, and is the top assist getter in the league. He's looking like an incredible option to have at the back, as he is racking in so many points, and also has a very nice double game week in game week 19 as he faces United and Burnley, and his upcoming 3 fixtures include West Brom, Newcastle and Southampton before the double game week. Having a look at the main differences in midfield, Grealish does not make this team as we make way for Andrew Robertson in the back, and Basuma instead comes in on the bench. Obviously Basuma could be any 4.5 million player, but he is just one I've had since the start of the season, and I find that there's no real need to change him. If we have a look at the forward line, it is very similar as well, with Calvert-Lewin, Bamford and Brewster, the 3 players up top. Instead, obviously the formation will change to a 4 at the back, as you don't have the depth in the midfield, as there's only 4 real starting midfielders, and with Robertson coming in at defence, it would be very nice to start Justin, Dallas, Robertson and Soufal, as they all have double game weeks in game week 19 and all provide strong attacking returns. So now having a look at the third and final wildcard draft, it is fairly similar to the other two with a couple of key changes. The goalkeepers remain unchanged, but unlike wildcard draft 2, Ben Chilwell comes into the team instead of Andrew Robertson. This move is made as it frees up funds elsewhere, and also Ben Chilwell is a very strong option, so it's not necessarily much of a downgrade. This season, Ben Chilwell has scored 66 points after coming in game week 4. This comes about as he's recorded 2 goals, 3 assists and 5 clean sheets and has been prolific at the back for Chelsea. Ben Chilwell is another one that has a double game week in game week 19, which is nice to target as his 2 opponents include Fulham and Leicester. Before that, he faces Arsenal, Villa and City, so I would say Arsenal and Villa do present potential clean sheet fixtures, and he should be back from his injury before then. The 4 players in the middle of the park remain unchanged, being Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandes and Son, with Basuma being the bench player there. There is going to be a 3-4-3 formation for this team, so the 3 players up top include Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, and the 3rd player being Che Adams. Adams is coming in at a very nice £6 million and is currently the 6th highest scoring forward. He is another one that has provided great value up top for his owners and has scored so far this season 4 goals and 5 assists. He has really risen to the task with Danny Ings being out injured recently, and Danny Ings did pick up another knock in the most recent game, so he could be one to get all the service in the upcoming game weeks. Also, Che Adams does have a very nice double game week in game week 19, as his opponents include Leicester and Leeds. Leeds have been quite leaky at the back so far this season, as they have conceded the most goals so far, so if you do want to target this double game week, then Che Adams could be a nice forward to have up top. So that's what we've got for today for the wildcard drafts of FPL Game Week 15 ahead of the wildcard deadline in Game Week 16. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you guys have still got your wildcard in hand, what team will be lining up for Game Week 16. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.